want my team and my kids to be, and my wife to be proud of me. That I am not sitting on a couch eating bonbons, I'm not playing video games, and, I sleep well at night because we help people. That's simple. That my mission is to help people to alleviate as much pain as possible.
Welcome back to the Rabasha Family Podcast. I have a very, very, very special guest in the building. I have Vlad Portnoy. I'm an estate planning attorney for business owners, asset protection, and he's an infamous keynote speaker. He's a skilled attorney, asset protection specialist, negotiator, media editor, and client counselor with a highly diversified career span ranging between small to medium size private firms to multinational corporations with worldwide presence, providing real estate solutions, family business protection and succession, and long-term care representation to high net worth estates and businesses. He's been able to guide boards of directors of various client companies and non-for-profit organizations on issues of international law and compliance, business development, strategic planning, fundraising, employment law, and public relations, while he's continually being able to design and implement revenue-saving measures. He's a results-driven, problem-solving rainmaker with a proven and dedicated ability to thrive and succeed as part of the international executive management teams or as a private practice attorney. So it's really, really a pleasure to have you on, Vlad.
Thank you so much, Rajira. Great to meet. And by the way, thank you for that introduction. Jesus Christ, I didn't know I'd do that. A lot of it was in my pastime as an international corporate attorney, but well, I'm kind of swinging back and implementing a lot of it back in. But thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
No worries. Thank you so much. So just quickly, can we talk a little bit about what do you do in a simple way, right? That was a lot of big introduction, but if I was an 11-year-old Vlad, how would you explain to me what you do in simple English?
Marketing is all about storytelling. Dad, when we first started this business, what did you say to me?
I said, yes, we do a podcast.
Why?
Because I want to tell our story.
Why?
Because I know the story builds a legacy.
Builds a legacy. And that is exactly what we do here at ETS Rabasha Media. We market your story on social media so you could build a legacy for those who come after you, to build your business and your personal brand.
Yeah, follow us on our platform. Go on our website, etsrabashamedia.com.
This is about legacy, and it is about showing up on social media every single day, because if you don't show up, your competition will.
Wow, that is fantastic to ask a lawyer. I haven't spoken in simple English in years, but let me try. So in general, in very simple English, we help people sleep well at night, knowing that their assets are either protected or they will be directed to whoever they want to go to. Should they pass or should they become incapacitated, they will be handled. So all of these things, that's essentially what we do in a nutshell.
And who are the people like, because you don't have, unfortunately, I don't know, but you don't have many people thinking that long term at times, even though we're all going to die one day. You'd be thinking that we do think about these things. It's inevitable that everyone will suffer. So everyone should be a client. But who are the people who come to you? Like, is it that these are things that they're thinking about, or is it because they've amassed a certain amount of wealth? Like, who comes to you and says, okay, Vlad, I need to start thinking about things? And when do they come to you?
Well, that's a multifaceted question also. So I like to say, to answer simply, if anyone may at some point lose mental capacity, go insane, or die, they're my potential client, which is basically everybody. And a lot of times what we do is estate planning. So what we are doing is running around banging the drum and saying, look, at some point something may happen and you need to plan for contingencies. But at the same time, a lot of our clients come to us when it's too late, when they didn't plan and now they need to react, and they've actually, a lot of doors have been closed. What do they do? So we try to really implement the planning, which is easier because they're all alive and healthy and have mental capacity. And this is the time to take care of things. But sometimes that opportunity is lost forever. And it could be, an aging parent with dementia. It could be someone who is young and not planning to die, getting involved in a freak accident and losing their capacity. And now they're not even dead. They're alive, but they're in a coma. So who's going to manage all of their assets and their everyday life? Well, they're actually still alive. Because they're alive, there's no inheritance. So we solve all of these issues. We try to solve them preemptively. So we have both clients that come to us to solve this preemptively, or to do a crisis planning, or just react to whatever circumstances they're in.
Okay, and that's a very interesting segue. What does it mean to protect assets? Who are you protecting it from?
It could be a number of, essentially, the easy way to say it is creditors. But who is the creditor? It could be any type of creditors. For example, here in America, we really enjoy going to the doctors, and we really also enjoy suing the doctors. The doctors, the more sophisticated the doctor, the brain surgeons, the heart surgeons, the people that really are there to save a life, can also be sued for trying to save your life but not really succeeding. So those doctors would need asset protection planning, because they need to protect what they have. Why are they working? They protect their assets, their homes, their whatever bank accounts for their family, because that's why they're working, right? So it's not illegal. We're not trying to hide it, because if they're being sued, it's too late to do this. So there's that. We could protect anyone from potential creditor. It could be someone who may want to plan going on Medicaid, and that's a government-sponsored medical program here in the States, and it's federally funded partially, but state-run. So each state sets up their own rules. I'm licensed in New York and New Jersey. The rules are completely different, vastly different in all other states also, with obviously similarities, but there's different things. So we plan for Medicaid. If you have too much income, too many savings, you can't qualify. But it's not enough. Even if you sold everything and become homeless, then maybe you will qualify for Medicaid, but then you have no place to live. So Medicaid is potentially also your creditor. So we need to deal with Medicaid in a legal way under the rules that Medicaid designed and prescribed. But if that is not done correctly, if the clients, for example, only resorted to do-it-yourself solutions, or they went to a lawyer who was not specializing in this, and they said, oh, let's just do a will and you'll be fine. And then 10 years later, they receive this huge bill when someone passes. That's not a proper planning. There's also maybe planning from future ex-spouses. There could be business creditors. There's all sorts of things for Medicaid planning, and for business planning, for business succession planning. We've all heard about business divorce, where the partners love each other until they don't. So there's a myriad of things that we need to plan for. And when you plan for it, so there's a big difference. When you plan for it, it's legal and it's enforceable if done correctly. But if you react to something that, if you didn't plan, if you ignored this, and you react to someone who is to a certain event, then it's too late. And transferring anything anywhere is called fraudulent transfer, which means it's not for estate planning purposes. It's the transfer to deferred creditors, and it's too late. And then you just have to stick it out, get through it. And again, when the coast is clear, you plan and show that you've learned a valuable lesson. Unfortunately, a lot of people really stick it out, get to that point, and then they go, oh my God, can we do something drastic like backdate the documents 2 years ago or whatever? And the answer is no. So, but the creditors could be tremendous amounts of from different angles.
And who would you say is a perfect client for you? And what I mean by that is, who would you say is someone that you love working with, you love doing these estates for, and they understand you, and it's just you have that connection? Which person would that be?
That's a good question. So there's different categories. Who is my avatar? We work with a lot of different people. We love working with everyday people, like the middle class, where they go, look, why do I even need any of these documents if I only have a house and I'm not rich, I'm not wealthy? And the question is, okay, do you have kids? Oh yeah, they're small. Then you have something to protect. You need a will with a guardianship provision in case young parents pass away. Who's going to take care of their kids? Okay, and And obviously, if you have small kids, you can't put value on your kids, like billions of dollars. You would still presumably not exchange for your children because that's love. That's why you have your children. So just that alone. But we also work with people who want to do Medicaid planning, and most of them are elderly and disabled. We'll love working with them. We absolutely love working with the elderly because it's really, seeing the smiles on their faces when they know that you've done everything for them and they're not going to lose their very last dollar just to qualify for potential visits to a doctor. We also love to work with business owners because that's a completely different thing. This is where you do estate planning, but you also potentially work with tax implications. And on business side, there's so much going on that we also love working with them. So really anyone could be our client and maybe they did documents 15 years ago. I was a different lawyer under different rules, and that lawyer, retired. We can work with them too. We also love working with them because they've already gone through this 15 years ago. They know how this works. They just need an update to their documents. So there's all kinds of things that we can do. And obviously professionals like doctors who really walk around, as I said, with a bullseye on their back. We love working with them as well because they're usually, they're doctors, they're chill, they're cool. And so the conversations are completely different. Conversation about the same thing could sound completely different if you're talking to a CEO of a company or a brain surgeon or a retired grandma, even if she's multimillionaire. So it's really cool because it's never boring. It's never the same stupid conversation over. It's always uplifting and it's always energizing and it's always like educational because we work with our clients as a team. So it's always the same conversation, and it's never the same conversation.
I definitely get what you mean there. And so when it comes to estate planning, what does a good estate plan look like?
Well, at the very beginning, if you're looking at middle class, we usually do like a couple of wills because a will goes per person, and some form of a trust. That's, and then obviously power of attorney, healthcare proxy, that is for someone to take care of you when you're incapacitated. But there's obviously more. If we're working with Medicaid clients, we're doing other things like Medicaid applications and things of that nature. If we're working with high net worth individuals, there's a tax component, and the trusts become, take on lives of their own, and it's a completely different game. There's a basic and then there's add-ons depending on what you're trying to achieve.
And, when it comes to what you do, what's been your biggest challenge? I would even say when you were creating the company, throughout your career, what's been some of your biggest challenge or one particular challenge that you had that, took you to get through it?
Honestly, I've been a lawyer for over 20 years, but before I was a corporate lawyer, and now 16 years ago, in 2009, I switched to this. When you are a corporate lawyer, as I was not even working for a law firm. I was working for a company, and I was an employee. So they tell me what to do, and I do it, right? That's what the employees do. That's what the employees are there for. And then you can discuss it with them, but really what your job description is. I was kind of accidental. I was an accidental entrepreneur. I wasn't planning to open my firm. It just happened. And the hardest part of opening your own shop is realizing that a law firm is just a business like any other business. Like if you ran a company or a candy shop or, a ice cream stand, it's a business. It's just scalable, and the same rules of business apply. Learning the rules of business was very, very challenging, and and how to run an actual office. But for the first 12 years, I was on my own, so it was still me. I'm still learning, and the only person that's responsible is me. It's only when I seriously started growing and scaling in 21, about 5 years ago, is when the biggest challenge was to delegate, to trust another person to take something out of your hands and make your life easier. Because, I'm Vlad. I've been doing this all my life. No one can be Vlad better than Vlad. And then I had one person that was like, let me do this. And I'm like, I would rather not, but I'm just too tired. I've been working for 12 hours today and all previous days. Do it. And then that person went and was a better Vlad than Vlad could ever be, even if Vlad had rest. And I'm like, huh, that's cool. But I delegated a certain specific type of task. And I'm like, okay, from now on, you're doing this. Oh my God, I found a whole bunch of time. But then you find that time and you go, let's grow more. And now you go, oh, but now I have to delegate this task. And it's every time you delegate a type of a task to a brand new person you've never met before, that's a challenge because at this point, this firm has 12 people and we have lawyers, we have marketing, we have support, we have all sorts of people. And to think that 5 years ago, everything that we're all doing now, I was doing on my own, just on much smaller scale, is insanity. But that was the challenge, to go, okay, I'm going to trust all of my entire team and I'm going to split because now, there's a lot more tasks. There's a lot more to do. Now all of them are busy beyond their regular weekly hours. And still, and now I'm like, if I just took it all back right now, my brain would just explode. So there's no turning back, but in every aspect of running a firm, you start somewhere and you have to trust just one person. Another person better not burn you because that may be the end of it. And you say, yeah, well, I tried and they burned me. So I'm going to be back to this. I'm just going to be Vlad being Vlad and doing Vlad. But luckily I had one person that they gave me 3 people. And now those people, specifically 2 of them that are still with me for years and they're fantastic. They really showed the way and they really showed me that I can trust people. Even if there were some bad apples along the way, I always looked at them and I looked to them to continue shining with an example that most people are good and most people will be like this. So we just always keep searching for people like them. And they help me with selection of those people. We have a company culture, but delegating was really difficult. But they helped me believe that this is, I understood it logically after a while, but I still didn't feel it in my heart. And after a while, there was an alignment of my feelings and my reasoning that I just accepted it. But it's been very challenging.
Wow, I think that's a very good lesson on business there. Quite powerful. So, and just quickly, how long you said when we started scaling 4 or 5 years ago, how long did it take you to get to the point of that scale?
It's never ending. It's like I had one person, I started implementing in the fall of 21. I started implementing certain things I've been learning. I've had office help here and there throughout the previous 12 years, but I've never really delegated. I just kind of, let my assistants carry out the task, but I would always be there. And it's like, sometimes it's like, give me that I just don't want to teach you. I'm just going to do this. And then the assistant's sitting there, like, why am I here? Yeah. So, but it was like one person in really serious person in March of 22. And then from that person in September, October of 22, that one person started, it was just me and that person. And then it became 3 more people carrying out what that one person was doing and doing more. And it just started scaling. And at some point it was 6 people and 8 people. In 24, I think we had 12 people. Last year we shrunk down to 8 to 10, depending. And now we're again back to 12. And so it has kind of a yo-yo effect, but not full yo-yo. So, you can go to 8 down to 6 and then to 10 down to 8. It's kind of like that. And we're just slowly growing. But now it's the more people we get, the faster we're growing. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, but I more mean from the very first day you opened doors to that point where you said, okay, I need to now bring on, like, how long was that time?
Well, the first 12 years from 2009 to 21, I was in complete denial. Whoever I had in the office helping me, they were not really delegated anything meaningful. They were doing tasks that even if they screw up, it would take time to undo it, but it's not detrimental. What I mean delegating is giving a task that if it's screwed up, it could have detrimental effects on the entire business. So that really started with me participating in a program that teaches lawyers to be business owners. And that
Mm.
started in 21. And with that knowledge, I started looking in February and really onboarded the first person in March of 22 with an understanding that, okay, let's see if this works. And luckily it did. And then because of that person's efforts, we had three more people, and two of them are still with us with the company, and they're amazing, and they've really been the backbone of the operation.
So yeah, you were saying?
No, I'm just saying that. So that's basically really the growth started in 22, I would say.
In 22. I was just really excited to intervene in there. Why do you think lawyers struggle with the business side of things?
That's a very good question, and that's exactly why I took that course. Well, it's not a course; it's a long story, but
Mhm.
they literally specifically teach lawyers to be business owners because lawyers are never taught that law is a business itself. Lawyers walk around, I can go get ice cream. I can hire an accountant to do my taxes. I can buy a car. I, as a lawyer, perceive that all of that is business, and that's fine. But I, as a lawyer, never reflect on myself and go, well, I'm running a business too. No, I'm running a law firm. And this has nothing to do with an ego. It has to do with our law schools never teaching you how to run your firm as a business. They teach you all about different areas of practice. So when you come out, you have a pretty good understanding which way you want to go. But then you come out and you go, and they say, okay, before you leave law school, you'll be a lawyer. Go lawyer, and the clients will come. And, as long as you're good and honest, and then you go, but I don't know anything about marketing. I don't know anything about HR. I don't know anything about working with people. A lot of lawyers come out with such a huge ego. They are brilliant lawyers, and they can't work with other people because, they have social skills of a Wolverine. So it's kind of like, really? So that's really the biggest issue. This is also what happens, young lawyers, when you're young and you have energy. You come out swinging and you survive and everything's great. As you get older and you don't have that energy to overcome obstacles, you can either search for help, really, or you end up imploding. This is why a lot of lawyers, when they reach certain status and certain thing, and they really start choking on their own business because they are choking their own business. They are now in their way. This is where the substance abuse comes in. This is where divorce comes in. This is where all kinds of negative things comes in from good people because they literally weren't ready for this and they suppressed all of their personal feelings in order to get to where they want to be. And now they're kind of there and they can't manage it. They were missing that component from the beginning. That's my opinion. That's what I've seen.
Yeah, I think for, lawyers who also will be watching this, I think that's quite valuable information that you're inputting there. What's the vision that you have now? What's Vlad doing in 10 years? What do you see? Are you open to, for example, investments into the company, or you just focused on scaling as much as you can? What does the next 10 years look like for you?
Honestly, I'm a workaholic. So I could complain about long hours. I just want to scale them down a little bit more for myself. So I'm not killing myself, but a regular work day or a regular work week of 40 hours is like a half a week for me. I've been going on 80-hour weeks for years and years, even before I opened my firm. I just need to slow down a little bit, but the firm should be growing. And for the time being, it's, me, but I definitely, as a name on a thing, but I know what the future brings. So far, this firm has a motto. We do two things. Everyone who's in this firm, who stays in this firm, We want to help as many people as we can, and we have fun doing it. If either one of those is not working out for you anymore, then you can't be here. Either if you're bored, if you're aggravated, you're not here. If you're not helping people, you definitely don't belong here, because this is why I became a lawyer in the first place. And everybody who's here is genuinely interested in helping people. And so we just continue our mission. We are on a mission to save people from oblivion, from pain. Because when I was in corporate, I heard this really cool thing that's always stuck with me, and that's risk management is always better than damage control. And now we can also add also cheaper. Even though when you do a plan, you go, oh my God, it costs this much or this much, whatever it is, it's always too much. But the alternative is, that's risk management. But the alternative is, if things blow up and you didn't have that, the damage control is going to be a lot more expensive. So you have to look at the value of this, of what we do. So the mission is to spread that word, really spread the word and say, look, concentrate on the risk management, because damage control may be detrimental in many respects to you and your loved ones and everybody who's connected with you. So, continue with that mission.
Would you ever be open to taking any investors?
Not at this moment, to be honest with you. And the investors could be, there are rules about non-lawyers owning a law firm. So I don't know. There's been some ideas kicking around in New York. I'm not sure if the law passed. Maybe they passed the law. But in general, you bring people who are strictly business and who are not legal-minded and did not go through law school. The ethics is completely different. The ethics of driving really big business is different from lawyers trying to grow, but really considering legal ethics as, we are here held to a higher standard, so we have to hold everybody else. If there is if there's a large firm that comes after me, I don't know. I've never considered it. No one has come in yet, but I have gotten a lot of offers to join someone else's firm, but at this point, that's not the plan.
But if something did come up, you'd maybe have a look. You would have a look at it. That's what you're saying.
Well, we call it in legal due diligence. I would never dismiss anything that it at least sounds reasonable. I would look at it and probably dismiss at this point. But who knows? If this is what I'm saying now. In 10 years, maybe I'll be like, okay, look, I built something. I'm just going to sell it and go move to Florida and golf. I don't know. Right now, that's not a plan. That is not. The plan is to keep things the way we have them, just scale and grow. Add more people. We're creating jobs. A lot of our employees are international. So we're really supporting international economy. We cover a bunch of continents. I think all of the continents at this point, which is kind of cool. So it's very rewarding, and I think that there is something to it. And I don't want to sell to someone else's vision. I have a vision that's just solely mine, and that's where I'm continuing to be.
And what keeps that fire alive? What keeps you waking up every morning wanting to work 12 to 14 to 20 hours a day? What keeps you going every day?
Well, I'm also always intellectually curious. There's always more stuff to learn. I love dealing with people, like everyday people. You have conversations, you find out who they are, what's their why? Mm-hmm. Why are they doing it? Or why are they not doing it? Mm-hmm. What's my why? I want to have a great team, and I want my team and my kids and my wife to be proud of me. That I am not sitting on a couch eating bonbons. I'm not playing video games, and I sleep well at night because we help people. That's simple. That my mission is to help people to alleviate as much pain as possible, even if they're against it. Like, I'm not going to hold them hostage and say, no, you need this, now do this. But maybe a small step, maybe something that they go, okay, we're going to start here, because we have a lot of clients who said, we're not going to do the whole thing. What do we do minimum? Okay, here's what you do minimum. In 5-10 years, I've had people coming back going, okay, I heard you 10 years ago. I wasn't ready. I'm ready for part 2, part 5, part 10, whatever it is. But now they're listening. Now they're really, truly listening, and they understand what the pain could be. and they don't want that pain. A lot of times, unfortunately, it takes them to lose a loved one. You go, you should get a will, you should get a trust. And they go, no, not right now. 2 years later, they come in and say, oh, I just lost a parent and my siblings screwed me over because there was no will and they got in charge and they did all these documents. I never want to have this for my kids. Good, that's a conversation, and that's how you start. And it promotes both financial and personal health, and also mental health, which is really important. So, that's why we do this.
Wow, I love it. I love it. I love to see the passion. I'm going to play a little game before we wrap up. So what I'll do is I'll say a word, and then whatever comes to your mind, anything comes to your mind about that word, you say it, and then I can get you to explain, okay?
That is dangerous. Should I call my psychiatrist before we do this? Is there implants involved? Paging Dr. Freud. Okay, shoot. I'll try to control my exuberance.
No worries. CEO.
CEO, growth.
Growth. Explain.
I mean, why is the CEO there? They are there to protect the company and grow it, essentially. I mean, there's no business that starts to be mediocre. There's no business that starts and goes, we're going to get to this level and just cruise. No, everybody wants to get to that point and go, oh, wait, we can double this, we can triple this. And this is where you have a CEO. Weirdly enough, I never considered myself, I'm a CEO of my own firm. In a sense, even though, sometimes I sign as a principal, sometimes as a president of a law firm. Yeah, but that's what it is. It's the vision. It's the big vision from, 50,000 feet down, like from outer space.
Love it. Law firm.
Service.
Oh,
law firm
okay.
is
Service.
Lawyers are servants. If you are a true lawyer, like a lawyer's lawyer, like most of the lawyers are, people don't go to law school to go, I'm going to become a lawyer and then I'm going to just screw people over. If you're a criminal, if you're trying to pull a fast one, there's easier way to do this. People go to law school because for the most part, they believe in serving the community, in serving their colleagues and their families and their friends and their clients. So I think it's very strong. I have a very strong feeling that the law firms we're serving the community, we're serving people.
And that's what it's all about, this service and value you're adding to someone else's life. What I would say for this one, mediator. That's an interesting one.
Mediator? Is that the word, or do you want?
Yeah. No, that's the word.
Okay. I've done mediation. It's fun. And I know a lot of people who've gone into mediations. A lot of judges that retire go into mediation because they are used to hearing both sides as opposed to being plaintiff or defendant. So mediation is actually a pretty good area of practice. I know a lot of people in it, and they're really nice people. They're very balanced. They're very emotionally balanced for the most part, because if you're sitting with two people and they just yelling at you, it's either judge or mediator, which is technically the judge. At the end of the day, the judge would render the decision. So there's mediation, there's arbitration. Kind of mediation was more firepower and it's binding. But yeah, it's fun. It's really cool.
Yeah. Okay. Resilience.
Resilience. Maturity.
Explain.
In order to be resilient, you have to be mature enough not to yell back. Like someone yells at you, as you grow, when you're a kid, you just punch them in the face. As you become a teen, or you go, okay, I want to punch them in the face, but I know that would be a problem. And the older I am, the more I get into trouble. At the end of the day, life throws curveballs at you 24/7, and resilience is withstanding those things. I didn't even see the entire movie, but I saw a snippet. It was Stallone's movie. I believe it was Apollo Creed. And then when he was when he was saying, it's not how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you can get back up. And that's the resilience. That's really the resilience. How many times can you get back up and get back in a fight?
I love it. And it's very true, to be able to keep going, keep, enduring is quite powerful. Money.
Access. I mean, money is not, everybody wants to make more money, but why? Money itself is meaningless. It's just papers. It's what gives you access to things that actually enjoyable. You know, some money gets you a nice vacation and some clothes. More money gets you Gucci's and a vacation in Monaco. You know, so everybody wants to be wealthy so they can enjoy more things in life. So access.
Yeah, access. I like that one. That's a good one. And to finish it off, I would say legacy.
Legacy. That's good. I would say respect. You know, that's why part of the thing is when I started the firm, one of my taglines that I said was your legacy preserved. Why are we doing estate planning? It's so people don't fight over your casket. You want to put as much in place now. Let's say you have kids that don't get along. You want them, you know, you still want to be remembered in a good way. So you plan it, you set it in motion, and you make it so they don't fight at least, or they maybe it will put them, you know, bring them back together. So you got to be, you know, that's legacy is having respect after death. You know,
Having respect after death. It's true. I love it. You know, I was talking to Vanderbilt yesterday, and she was saying how, you know, she was in New York and she can see her great grandfather's creations all around it till today in 2026.
Yeah.
That is respect after death. Actually, the last word, I'll give you one more. New York.
New York, Jesus, power.
Power. Ooh.
New York is power. No, nothing beats New York. There's power everywhere, but New York is one of those things, you know. New York could also be fun, crazy, you know, but yeah, New York ultimately it is power. There's other parts of the world, there's other parts of the country that you can go to and also have power, but I perceive it more as pockets of specific types of power. And then everything else kind of revolves around it in a periphery to support. New York just has all of it. Just big festival of things just crossing and zooming. And that's why it's so fast, because there's so many things going at the same time. New Yorkers walk fast, talk fast, just everything is fast because there's not enough time in the day to deal with everything that's going on.
Yeah. Which sets the tone for now. I know you're also busy after this. So Vlad, I want to thank you so much for your time. That was really an amazing episode. I can't wait to share it with you after. I can't wait to have a chat with you more, but that was really wonderful. I think I also learned a lot. I think on so many aspects, even for the, you know, the clients that you take care of, but also even for the lawyers. I think it opened an avenue for me to see you also teaching and helping lawyers around the business side of things as well. So you have many avenues about you. And yeah, I want to thank you so much. And it was an amazing episode. And where can people find you? I know you've got the signs back there, but I would love to hear it from you.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. This is I really admire your energy. I've seen your other work. I don't know, maybe you also don't sleep, or you like you could 10 cups of coffee, or maybe this is how you are, but I do love the energy. I do love the quick, you know, the banter. It's always great. Hint, hint, looking forward to more of this if you're open to it eventually. But but yeah, we can be found at our website www.nywillsandestates.com, and our main office number is 212-920-6371. We can be found all over the internet thanks to our amazing marketing team. And yeah, just you can Google Vlad or NY Wills and Estates. It comes up as both our office and kind of an unofficial DBA. We're everywhere. Just look us up.
Cool. And you're on LinkedIn. So anyway, Vlad, thank you. I'll let you get to it and we'll keep in touch after this, okay?
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thanks. Bye.
Hey, what's wrong? Bro, I'm stressed out. I'm running my business. I've got to serve my customers, but I need more customers coming in. I can't keep relying on word of mouth. Why don't you just use ETS Rabasha Media? Who? Well, with AI now, what they do is they go in, get your perfect clients, bring them in front of you. So all I got to do is run my business and he brings me opportunities. Think about it. You speak to 3,000 of your ideal customers, convert 1% of that 3,000. That's 30 people. 30 people in a room with you. Can you convert that? Of course I'll close them. I'm good at what I do. I just don't have time to be going and looking for my perfect client. Focus on what you love doing and let them bring you customers. When you win, they win, commission, ching. Sujira Rabasha, huh? Yeah, Sujira Rabasha. Go and Google them, man. Come on, take it to the bank.
If you really enjoyed this video, make sure to click here and I'm sure you're going to love that one.